Hey guys, hello. So in my teach pack, I'm going to cover Alteryx Designers Suite. So Alteryx was founded in 1997. It's right now a company which is listed on New York Stock Exchange. Its total net worth is around $1.3 billion. And as everyone knows, Alteryx is an information technology company focused on data manipulation, data analytics, basically everything related to data. So based on my understanding, I mean, as I mentioned, it is used for data manipulation. I think it is also used for ETL processes. You can also generate various sorts of reports using Alteryx. And there are multiple ways on how anyone could use Alteryx, like which data sources someone can use. It can easily connect to SQL, NoSQL databases, also cloud as well. I have found it to be very fast and quick, and it is really important. It's something which is really important at my job because we depend very heavily on Alteryx for doing data quality, data validation, and doing various sorts of data transformations, and also doing various sorts of data cleaning as well. And we use Alteryx for basically everything in our billing product because in my role we basically get data from multiple sources from our customers' databases. So just to give a little background, this is just a small background of how Alteryx can be used, on which data sources it can be used to connect. For Oracle, there are three types on how it can be connected, as four types basically, and for SQL Server, it's also three types. Quick Connect is something which you can use your local host database. For that, someone would use Quick Connect. If Oracle is the front end database, and the back end is maybe like an Azure database. I think in that scenario, you would use OCI. That is how we use Alteryx. Our front end is an Oracle database, and back end is an Azure database. So that's how what we use. And these are the other various systems which can be used to connect Alteryx. These are my favorite tools which I use in my role. Just to give a little background, this browse tool, this tool is used to browse the dataset. For example, if I input something and let's say I'm fetching data from a Postgres database, basically any table, and if I would use the browse table and connect it next to it, it would just show me the elements which is inside that source. The output data tool is basically a tool where we write the data to an actual database. It can be any database. Uh, Text input is something where you can actually get something in string as a text input. Just to give an example, in my role, there is a certain server in my customer's environment where they want us to use. Actually, there's a certain CSV file which is on that server, and it's a comma separated values file. So we basically use that file every day for one of our billing Alteryx workflows. So that's how text input is used. The second is data cleansing, where you, for example, remove duplicates, and then you basically do some data transactions, or uh, actually just some basic data cleaning operations are done over here. Filtering is just like a where clause where you can use that to filter your data. Formula is a tool where you can apply various sorts of formulas like if else statements, case statements. So I mean, in my opinion, I think Alteryx is just like a SQL/Python tool with a web interface, and with a, like it has this amazing graphical user interface where anyone with literally no coding experience can use Alteryx and do advanced data analytics stuff. Um, I'm not sure how sampling is used because I have not used this, but I think it is used to sample your data into bins. Select is where, for example, if I am using Alteryx and there are like 20 columns, but I'm only concerned using 3 to 4 columns, I would use select. Sort is where you sort the data in ascending, descending order, or basically it's used for sorting. In join tool, there are three types of join: inner join, left join, right join. And union is just used for a union. Summarize, text to column is, as name suggests, doesn't really need any more understanding. It's pretty self-explanatory. Summarize is where you use mathematical functions over here, like max, minimum, count. And comment is where you comment your Alteryx workflow. So this is the general layout for Alteryx. And this workflow I will explain in a little bit what it's doing. So I'm picking an Alteryx case study where and just trying to explain how we use Alteryx. So the billing product which I work on, we process financial transactions. Like annually, we process $7 billion of data, and we use this process for a Fortune 500 company, Fortune 50 company. My bad. And we basically, as I've mentioned earlier, we depend on Alteryx for our billing processes, and we depend on this tool for our data transactions, our data cleaning, and I mean we heavily depend on Alteryx. So in this workflow, what I'm just want to show you is that these are three different systems. So as an example, ServiceNow is a system where various sorts of asset related information is saved, assets like computers, PC, cell phones. And so our customer asks us to use this system to pick up the costing information for these assets. Oracle is our data warehouse, and PostgreSQL is also our one of the data marts for my company. So what we do is we basically have a daily workflow where we fetch data from our Oracle database, we fetch data from our customers database, and then we fetch data from our data mart. We combine this data together. There's various sorts of data transformations which we're doing inside, various sorts of data cleaning, various sorts of filtering, sorting, you name it, various sorts of macros. So once we do that, we use that basically over here. We do this with Alteryx, and then once that is done, then we write that data back to our data warehouse for our reporting purpose. So that's how, in a nutshell, we are sort of using Alteryx. This is an example. I can't, obviously I can't show any Alteryx workflow based from my job. So I'm picking up this sample Alteryx workflow just to show you how this works. I won't be able to demo with Alteryx since I'm not allowed to obviously do any demos with my work PC. So, but I would sort of explain each and everything in detail in explaining how is Alteryx working over here. So input data one is our first input tool where we are reading data. So it's just basically a CSV which we are fetching. So this is data number one, this is data number two. So as I've mentioned previously, this browse tool over here, this basically just shows what sort of, like, how is the input data tool one, how does that look like. Select tool, basically in this input tool there would be like many, as I mentioned earlier, 20 columns, but we're only gonna select some which we are, which we want to use. And same over here with the second input data tool. Then we're doing a join. After the join, whatever, and you can see it over here from the left table, we are taking this input. From the right side, we're taking this input, and we're doing an inner join on customer ID. And whatever results are there, we're going to sort them by customer ID, and then we're going to output the data into a CSV. And the result would be a CSV. So once I would run this workflow, it would first, as you can see, one means input data one. So this runs, then it browses the results because I have a browse tool over here. then input data 2 runs, which is basically this. Then it does a join. This select tool, the operations with this happens automatically. So it's not something you can say where it would show in the actual output. So once this is done, then it does a join, it sorts the data, and then it outputs it. And I've snipped an example where how the output looks like. So this is how the output would look like in the actual CSV in this output data tool. And this is now the end of my presentation for Alteryx. I know I was not able to give any demos. I'm planning to maybe install Alteryx on my Mac, but I have to set up a VM if I have to do that because Alteryx right now does not support Mac. So my apologies for not giving a real demo, but I think this was this was somehow useful. I hope to anyone who's planning to play with Alteryx. It's a pretty fantastic tool, and it really helps us, me and my company, in our billing operations. And if there would be any questions, please let me know. Email me, reach out to me, and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day. Bye bye.